So the first turn is the 1756 to 1757 turn of the Seven Years' War. And here we see England and Prussia form a coalition. France and the Maratha Confederacy, India, forms another. Austria and Russia are part of a third coalition, and the Manchu Empire forms the fourth coalition. So during this first game turn, England and Prussia have the initiative. During the treasury phase, England collects 18 treasury points and an additional 3 from the colonial trade route, bringing their total to 45 treasury points. And they spend 10 of these to build a fortified zone and raise an army, which leaves them with 31 treasury points. France and the Maratha Confederacy collect a total of 32 treasury points. The French invest in training an army in New France, and they build another army in southern France. So this leaves the second coalition 27 treasury points. The third coalition, Austria and Russia, have 23 points, and the Manchu Empire, the fourth coalition, has 22, and they have no changes in their treasury or recruitment in this phase. Then we move to the diplomacy phase. The British make some diplomatic attempts that result in espionage, and so that reveals information to the British player about the French capabilities. They can look at some of their chits. The Prussians also attempt a diplomatic action, and that leads to espionage, which uncovers Austrian capabilities. Then during the movement, the English fleet transfers troops to the southern part of the 13 colonies in the New World and then goes back to England. The Prussians attack Poland, and they successfully claim control after defeating the forces of the Commonwealth of Poland. And there's no pillaging, but you can see in the picture that I've posted here, Frederick the Great has conquered Poland. The French decide not to engage in any diplomacy. Maybe King Louis is occupied with something else. France does decide to launch an attack in the 13 colonies, and the area is defended by a British base. So the French player uses a chit, Honors of War, because the combat ratio is only 1-to-1. So, but despite this, the French win the battle and the base surrenders. So I'll comment, bases in this game represent colonial settlements in the area, as well as their militia and other local forces. The French conduct another attack here against the British settlement in Newfoundland, and the base is eliminated and the veteran army captures the area. So you can see that all depicted in this picture. There's also some action in the Far East. I don't have a picture of that, but the Maratha Confederacy attacks the English forces in Bengal, and the enemy really has no army there. It's just a base settlement. The Maratha Confederacy's forces consist mostly of hordes rather than a proper army. So in this game, hordes represent poorly disciplined forces with outdated weapons, as well as all of their camp followers and animals. So the term horde seems appropriate, as opposed to an army, which some of the other forces have, which represent the trained armed forces with infantry, artillery, cavalry, engineers, and logistical support and things like that. Well, in this battle, the Indians do manage to gain a 2-to-1 odds, but they must use the engagement combat results table. And in the end, the British settlement in Bengal surrenders. So this is successful. Then we go to the Austrians and the Russians. Now, the Austrians avoid diplomacy and start acting on their ambition in Europe. And during the movement phase, they use the Minor Power Alliance chit. The Russians also maneuver troops to the west, and they square off in Poland against the Prussians. And there's a 1-to-1 attack. It uses the linear combat results table. And the Prussians end up retreating, and 2 Russian armies occupy Poland. In addition to this, the Austrians also attack the German states, and the German armies here are all but wiped out. 1 Austrian army, as a result, is able to upgrade to veteran status. And now 3 armies occupy the newly conquered German states. Then we go to the Manchu Empire, and the emperor sends out 2 armies from the capital southward, where it goes to Siam, and it engages that colony, and Siam is defeated, and the Manchu Empire gains control of the territory. This territory is worth 2 treasury points, and there is no further action by the Manchu Empire. Then we go to provisions. You have to pay for your forces out in the field. So the English and the Prussian coalition have to expend 2 treasury points to supply their troops. France spends 2 treasury points. The Austrians and Russians spend 4 treasury points, and the Manchu Empire expends 2 treasury points. Then the English player uses an Enlightenment chit, and this is played in London, and a diplomacy chit is also expended, and the Enlightenment is effective and the chit is deployed, which allows the English to collect an extra campaign chit each turn now because of the Enlightenment, and they also gain an additional victory point. But this brings the first turn of the game to an end. I hope you enjoyed, and I will try to get out a second turn for you. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.